think as an employer, it is important to recognize that everyone's complaint is serious. I'm an employee advocate, so, I like to make sure that all employees are being treated appropriately and fairly. But I can also see from an employer perspective, sometimes there's so many complaints about so many things that are not protected that it can be hard. Some things are a little hard to recognize. But most of the time, it's not just one incident. Most of the time, there's repeated violations, right? And so if someone is coming to you, and even if you feel like this one particular incident is a little petty and you're sure that she or he didn't mean it that way, if someone is reporting a series of things that are happening, that's something to look out for. That's generally indicative of a larger problem. People report sexual harassment, and the employer doesn't feel like it rose to the level of sexual harassment. Okay? And people can disagree, especially when it comes to jokes and that type of thing. I mean, there's, people are not going to agree on, there's not a black and white definition of what's appropriate or inappropriate in a workplace. But if someone comes to you and reports something, then I think it's important to acknowledge that those person's feelings, and to at least, take your processes seriously and do an appropriate, look or investigation into what happened and what you can do to help make all of the employees feel comfortable. Because ultimately, your employees are going to be more productive and profitable if they're happy and they feel protected in their space. The number one mistake that employers make is not communicating back with the employee who made the report. A lot of times, because of confidentiality reasons, employers may be doing something behind the scenes, but they don't let the employee know that. And so, it's one thing to be discriminated against on the job, let's say by a coworker, and then you get the courage to report it, and then you feel like nothing happened. So then you feel like the company doesn't care about you, right? And the company could be taking all these steps behind the scenes, but you don't know that. And so this kind of tension builds. And so for employers, I think you don't have to tell the employee exactly what you decided to do, but I do think it's important to let the employee know that you're taking that complaint seriously and that you've investigated it and that you've taken appropriate action. There's some discrimination cases that are just retaliation, and as an employer, it's important that you not retaliate against someone who reports something, even if you feel like the report was silly. I've been successful on cases where there's a report of sexual harassment, and then there's a report of retaliation after the harassment, right? And I've had cases where I didn't succeed on the underlying sexual harassment report, right? So the court didn't agree that was actually sexual harassment, but did agree that there was retaliation for reporting sexual harassment. So if a person is reporting something in good faith that they believe to be sexual harassment, you can't retaliate against them even if they're wrong about it being sexual harassment.